So I woke up yesterday and my face looked like this, except today it's much better. And I was thinking about it because I think it's really important to show you what happened and kind of what I have done to myself. Um, I often have conversations with patients and make suggestions like whether it's cutting out gluten or dairy or some other food that might be causing an allergic reaction and maybe driving your autoimmune or your Hashimoto's, insulin resistance, whatever it is that you have going on. I don't touch gluten with a 10-foot pole because I am so afraid of adding it back into my diet that it could really take me out of remission. However, back late last year, I decided, okay, maybe instead of using in my coffee, I enjoy coffee in the morning, and maybe instead of using like nut milk creamers that kind of sometimes separate and stuff are just not as much fun as like half and half, let me try and see, like, oh, I've seen more A2 milk come out. And I'm like, okay, this comes from a different cow. Let's see if maybe I have less of a reaction. And at first I started doing that, and then I started to increase my dairy intake. Initially, I didn't have any issues. I didn't have any like gut issues. I didn't have any stool problems or anything like that. But then after a couple of months, I started to notice different spots where I would have eczema outbreaks. So would just have this spot right here. I had one on my hand here. I currently have one on my finger here, and I knew that my body was just at a place where it was like, "Hey, listen, you got to cut this out," and I knew it. In the winter, I got sick several times. I was speaking to another functional medicine colleague, and she goes, "Well, are you eating something that you shouldn't be? Because your immune system is spending all this time trying to fight whatever it is that's going into your body, whether that be dairy in my case, or gluten, or nightshades, or corn, or whatever it is for you. It spends all this time trying to fight that then it can't fight these other things. And then we start to have eczema outbreaks, or, maybe you have hives, or maybe you have whatever. So I finally hit my wall the other day. And even last week, 2 weeks ago, I was working out. I do a Le Greek class down the road at Third Eye Tribe. And my wrist started to really bother me. So last week, I couldn't even do the workout class because my wrists were so inflamed. And obviously, I'm also a chiropractor. And so I need healthy hands to work. And they were just super inflamed. So I knew I was kind of approaching a place. I was like, okay, we got to cut out the dairy again. This is not good. Let me just finish the last thing, half and half that I have, this A2 half and half. So I met a friend after work on Tuesday, and I will do a before picture and then a picture from yesterday morning. Um, for a walk here. We went for like a 4 mile walk. I put suntan lotion on my face. I didn't have any reaction then. And then sometime that night, I woke up yesterday morning. I kept noticing like early morning, I was scratching my face a lot while I was sleeping. And I woke up and my face was bright red, like crazy. And, I've heard everything like, was it the suntan lotion? Was it, I use this brand product all the time. It's a natural one. I've not ever had an issue with it in the past. So I started to think from like a root cause perspective. I was like, you pulled yourself out of remission. So I have Hashimoto's, and I've been in remission and I've been pretty good until I started to add a toxin back in. And remember, we've talked about that water bottle. Your toxic load needs to be down here. Mine was getting up here because you can't do it all and have the dairy and then not expect to have some kind of reaction. And do I think it's like a direct reaction from the dairy? No, but I think that it's a reaction because I'm consistently putting something into my body that my body does not like. And it said, okay, we've already increased your inflammatory load. Your joints hurt. You have eczema. Now, maybe there was a chemical in the air. Maybe it was the suntan lotion that my body didn't like. But either way, it couldn't detoxify it and get rid of it. So it backed up in my system. And then I woke up looking like this. So you can see it's still very red and itchy, but not like it was yesterday, kind of all through here. But I wanted to make this video because I cannot stress to you enough, and I'm just as guilty. We all sometimes want to enjoy the things that, we don't have on a normal basis, and sometimes we just have to cut things out and be consistent about doing it. Like I said, I don't touch gluten at all. I just don't, because I'm so afraid it's going to wake up another autoimmune that I just don't want to deal with it. but for whatever reason, I was okay with dairy, which is wildly inflammatory. And it's okay not to have those things in your diet on a normal basis. Doesn't mean that you can't occasionally have them. You can have a dairy enzyme. Like I love gluten flam. It's a gluten and dairy enzyme, and you can take those before a meal, like if you're going out to eat. But on a daily basis to have it when your body doesn't is so busy fighting that dairy allergy that it can't fight off anything else that comes along. So I make this post again because I do want you to know the importance of putting something into your body that is ultimately causing harm. I know everybody thinks, oh, if I eat something I'm allergic to, I should have a reaction immediately, and that's just not the case. Sometimes the reaction is a week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. It can be a long time before you have that reaction. And a lot of times patients will say, oh, I just have a little bit, just a little bit. Even just a little bit can be detrimental, you know. So, anyways, I wanted to share this with you. Like I said, I'll attach some pictures from yesterday and then the day before so that you can kind of see what my face did look like, what it looked like yesterday compared to today. And now, just FYI, I've cut out all dairy. I will not be fucking with that anymore. And ready to get myself back into remission so that I stop having these Hashimoto flares. But best of luck.